What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the segment podcast. It is Mark Hill, the segment, alongside Mr. Joey Yates.
How's everyone doing?
Yeah, that was good. Do that again, Joey. Joey Yates.
It's good to be back.
It's good to see you, my brother. If
Yeah.
you guys are frequent to the show, you'll notice that Joey has a new background. Joey, tell us a little bit about what that new background is. What's going on?
I moved a, a big move about 2 miles from my old house, so I'm in transition right now and have to build a new studio.
Nice. Oh, that's good. That's good. And how's it feeling in the new pad? You are some people buy houses with ocean views, some people buy homes with mountain views. And Joey, my man, you have a view of some sick mountain bike trail views.
Yeah, I'm lucky and fortunate. I have a little tiny view of the ocean, but I have trail view. I can just roll right out
Yes.
of the backyard in the morning and hop on the trails. Not the
Damn.
best trails in the world, but they're trails.
Heck yeah. Some of them are secret trails too. So
Yeah,
shh.
yeah,
Don't jump on a podcast and let people know.
right.
Oh man, it's good to see you, my brother. We've got a great one tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the founder of Mountain Writers Collective. It's Miss Vanessa Hair. She's going to jump on. She's all the way out in Canada, and she's going to let us know a little bit more about what that website is, what the organization is, what the movement behind that whole thing is. So it's going to be awesome. They're doing awesome things out there. Before we get the show too far, always love to recognize the Whole Shot Award. Joey, what do you think? Should we give out a Whole Shot Award?
Yeah, definitely.
This
There's a good
one,
one tonight.
yeah, this one actually came on like right on time. There have been some people, the show starts at 6 p.m. There have been some people that have dialed on for the Whole Shot Award at 2 p.m.
Might try that next week.
Yeah, exactly. But tonight comes in from the Lake Tahoe area. In fact, the Trail Pimp the Trail Pimp Award, the Whole Shot Award goes out to Trail Pimp. He
The Trail
says,
Pip Award.
hello.
Let's
Yeah,
rename it to the Trail Pip Award.
the Trail Pimp Award. He's chiming in from, he says, hello from Rubicon Pizza at North Star. Fire.
Wow,
Fire,
must be
fire.
nice. Woo.
Dude, North Star. I've been seeing some great folks out at North Star. I think Seabass was just out that way. I think I saw footage of Bree Azeltine out that way, having a good time. So, man, parks are open. I never thought we'd have an open park again. I thought they'd be snow 24/7, 365.
I saw some really sad news from coming out of Tahoe today, though. I was kind of bummed about that. People were
No.
posting aftermath of 4th of July, and they say it's like that every year, and people don't know how to carry their trash out of there. It's kind of a
Oh,
bummer.
I did.
Beautiful
Oh, dude,
place
I
to
did see
be.
that post. That was like boxes and beer cans and
Yeah,
all over the
yeah, that's
beach.
disappointing.
Damn, I know that stinks. That stinks. I thought you were gonna say something like fires,
Yeah,
but
no, not that bad, but yeah,
ooey, yeah,
people being
that's
idiots.
especially for a beautiful place like that, man. Like
Yeah, I
plus
mean, you
Lake
go
Tahoe.
there for the beauty, and then you just leave it a mess. It's not cool.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So if you're out in Lake Tahoe, pick up your trash, people.
Yeah, I don't think it's the locals.
Right. It sounds like people coming up to party, and then
Yeah,
although potentially they were still the post that I saw was early in the morning. Potentially there were still
yeah,
people there passed out.
yes,
But I did see chairs and hoodies and beer
possible
and
teepees.
bottles, possible TP tied to someone's shoe. Right and dirty saying you need to make some whole shot rules. Yeah. You're right. We do have to set the boundaries for that. But tonight, as long as the show is on, whole shot award could be handed out. So that'll be good. Um, Joey, let's say hi to some of the folks in the audience. Obviously, we just saw Riding Dirty out of Arizona. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Congratulations on your video, the latest video called The Stoke. That turned out really good. Geez, what was it? Preceded by the one before that. That was on fire. The
That one
jump.
blew up.
Oh my
Yes.
jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know where it's at. It's in the bajillions of views right now. I think Eric is actually tuning in from his yacht now out in the middle of the Mediterranean, so must be nice.
Wow, it's crazy. He hits that little tiny jump and it just goes viral.
Oh man, shots fired. Shots fired, Joey Yates. Oh
That's
man,
all
welcome.
GoPro effect. That
Right. Welcome aboard, everybody. Trail Pimps in the audience. We got Women's MTV Network. She was
yeah,
saying, "Where is everyone?" Yeah, we got a
we'll be
little bit
seeing
of
her pretty soon.
little bit of a later start tonight, but we got it. We got it figured out. We got Vanessa dialed in from Canada. We have Life of Riley. What's up, guys? Can't wait to see you next weekend. Yes, next weekend for
Oh,
the folks who
yes.
don't know is going to be insane. Ride and Shine on July 15th at Sky Park. Come on up if you're thinking about wanting to go somewhere and be around a ton of great people. We're going to be riding at Sky Park with your favorite content creators and crews. We have a ton of folks that have RSVP'd that are going to be there. 10% of the door fees are actually going to an organization called Making Spirits Bright. And what that organization does is it helps get kids out on the trails and some of them out in nature for the first time if they're coming from the inner city. So a portion of the fees are going for that. At 1 o'clock, we're going to have inspirational stories of hope to help end the stigma around mental health and just being together as a community. We've got great speakers that are lined up to deliver that. I'll be moderating to help that. Joey Yates will be on the trails with cameras, taking a lot of content. It's going to be an epic time. So I hope to see you guys there July 15th. Joey, what are you looking for most towards that on that day?
Just seeing everybody and riding with everybody. It's just a blast to be up there and all share the same stoke out on the trail.
It's so fun. The biggest question, though, at the end, are you going to save some of the toffee crunch cookies from the bakery for the
Oh
rest
no,
of us? We buy them
no,
out.
no. It's yeah. If you don't get there before me, they might be out.
That is awesome. That
I
is
did share
awesome.
one with Eric's daughter last time, and she had this big, like I set it down on the table, and her eyes went, "Do I do that?" I'm like,
Like,
"Dig
do I
in."
like yes. I love it. I love it. We got MTV Cast. Speaking of folks, 100 subs is on, says hello. Riding Dirty is saying that that video ended up eclipsing 72K. Holy
Gee,
guacamole. Holy
wow.
smokes. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, and there's Vanessa, our guest right there. She's backstage. We don't have her on video this time. We have her on audio. But what do you say, Joey? Let's bring Miss Vanessa on for the podcast and let's learn a little bit about this Mountain Riders Collective. Vanessa, are you there?
I am.
Yes, we
Yay.
have Vanessa Hair on the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everyone. I'm super stoked to be on.
Yes, yes, we're stoked to have you. And this new venture of yours, this Mountain Riders Collective, and I remember it just changed over. It used to be like mountain coaching, or there was a coaching thing, but now you've kind of opened it up. Tell us a little bit about what Mountain Riders Collective is.
Sure, I'd love to. So, to bring it back, originally, you're right, it was Mountain Coaches Collective. And through analysis and data, I was like, you know what? Coaches are riders as well, and everyone can be a rider, and everyone can be a coach. So, I wanted to make it more inclusive. So, Mountain Riders Collective was born that way, and it was just this year. So, it was a pretty cool transition for us, and people really received it well, and the wheels have been turning. So we're making progress with that new name.
That's very cool. And I hopped on the website here recently just to look at it. And I love how inclusive it is. It's a community of mountain bike riders, whether you're a coach or a rider, where you can grow your skills and share your experiences. And it looks like you have some epic content up already. And how far is the reach on the Mountain Riders Collective? Are you aiming to be national or global?
So great question. So my ultimate goal would be to go global.
Beautiful.
And the reason why I wanted to go global is because all in different countries. People have different perspectives of writing, different skills, techniques, and I think to grow our own skill and development, I think gathering other people's ideas and hearing their stories just makes us a whole person. So that's why going global is my dream.
I love it. I love it. And just looking at these pictures here on this first tab, I believe the person that I see bombing down the steep right here, it looks like the red dirt. That's got to be Sedona. Is that Mia from Women's MTV Network there?
You sure got it.
I can tell the style. Oh, she even chimed in. That's me. There's me. Nice. Oh, that is cool. I know Mia is she's also global with Women's MTV Network. And you have an adaptive writer here as well, I see. Just all different types. Freestyle, looks like DH. Um, for the portion of the website that's starting up, do you already have coaches and writers that are on board, or is this like just now building out?
So we have a few that are on board. Our next call to action is bringing in coaches who want, or riders that want to be mentored. So what we're looking for is people that want to get paid to mentor someone who is interested in riding, want to progress in their skills, or just needs the person to chat about, hey, I'm having like an off day with riding, or I'm having a really awesome day of riding, and let me tell you my story. So having this platform and someone to talk to and mentor through is essentially what we're looking for now.
That's very cool. And for people that are looking for a place like this, a platform like this, is the best way to jump on the website at Mountain Riders Collective. I went ahead and filled in my name and email, and then I think there's a section where you can check which content is specifically to you. Is that the best way to do it, or reach out to you on Instagram?
The best way is to fill out the form, because that way we can organize it properly and then communicate with you that way. And that's where we can get all of our data through that. So that's perfect.
Got it. Very cool. Very cool. I see that there are people that are already, putting up great comments here. I'll read one here from Samantha L. Samantha says, my coaching session with Vanessa was very helpful for building my bike to my body connection. I learned a lot, all about the skills, but also about my bike and how to take care of it properly. I had a blast reviewing videos and building on my skills. If you're looking for a bike coach that will help you build on your skills and have fun while doing it, I recommending reaching out to Vanessa. Signed, Samantha L. Dang, that is cool. So how long, I see right here, the team, how long have you been a coach?
So I have been a coach since 2015.
Uh-huh.
And that was like where my passion started. And before that, I used to downhill race. And so in 2019, I then got certified with my CMBIA level 1. And then this was last year, I got certified with my 2. So I specialize in drop and jump. And then I also teach kids. So I got my certification in how to teach kids mountain biking. So I've gone full circle, and I'm still striving to up my credentials and level up so I can be better of a rider and teacher and be better for other people around the world.
Oh, wow, that is awesome. That is a lot of certificates. I'm looking at these, Joey, some of these acronyms I don't know yet. Do you know what a lot of these I mean, I've heard of the certifications, but I couldn't tell you what these stand for. Joey, do you know?
No, I'm not familiar with them either.
Do it like a fun little game.
Yes, let's do it. What does it stand for?
Which one are you looking at? The first one?
Yeah, I'm looking at the BACC, and I know other coaches right now are turning in their seat like, come on, Mark.
Yeah, I can give you a hint. You want a hint?
Yeah, give me a hint. What's the hint?
Okay, it's a degree from a university.
Okay, a bachelor's of arts in, what's the CC part? Cycling? Joey, you want to give it a
Take
shot?
that one.
I'm over here cheating. I'm trying
Oh,
to
Joe's
look
looking it up. What is it, Joe? What does it say?
Oh, what does it say? What does it say?
out. Oh, it
He
won't let me
lost it.
open both tabs. Bummer.
He lost it.
All right, you want me to? All right, drum roll.
Yes.
Okay, the Bachelor of Arts in Corporate Communication.
Okay. Got it. Okay, gotcha. I just was figuring that was going to be mountain biking specific, but now the next certifications are right. PMBIA level 2. What does that
So
one stand for?
that one is Professional Mountain Bike Association, Instructors Association.
Gotcha.
So that is a global certification for mountain bikers to get your coaching.
Okay, got it. I think we have a friend, Joey Air Blair, I believe, got his PMBIA level 1 recently because he coaches the Laguna Beach mountain bike team. So that's got to be that one. How?
Yeah, I believe he did
Yeah,
that in Sedona, correct?
I think
And
so.
there's a few different ones.
Got it. And then the PMBIA, that's the same thing, but for kids specific.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And then the co-active leadership coach. What? Which one's
Yeah,
what?
this one's really cool. So a few years ago, up until last year, I actually worked for Lululemon, and I was able and had the honor to be a part of their leadership coaching team. So it was a year-long program, and so we learned how to mentor, how to coach others, how to journey through other people's lives to help support them through whatever they needed to talk about. And it was the spark actually that helped create this Mountain Riders Collective platform for mountain bikers.
Oh, cool.
So that was that certification.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. And then I see you have first aid training, which is always very, very helpful. 40 hours of wilderness first aid training, no less. What's the difference between the regular first aid training and 40 hours of wilderness training?
Oh, good question. So from what I know is the standard first aid is usually 1 or 2 day course, which I also have, but then the 40 hours is a bit more with back end training, and we actually go into the forest and learn how to use different like tree trunks, branches, within the forest to help support injured riders or hikers.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So
cool.
it's a really creative way to help rescue people when they're in the forest, and it's used when someone is 25 kilometers away from like urban settings.
Got it. So how to use the nature to like make a splint or hold C-spine or something to just stabilize the rider to get him out of there and get help. That's pretty cool. That sounds like some MacGyver stuff. I might want to take that class. Could use it for the bike too if the bike gets injured.
Oh yeah.
Now it says here. Now this is the stuff like your pedigree in racing. It says 2-time Alberta DH champion. Holy cow! What races were those, and at what location was that?
So the first one was they were both in Alberta. The first one was at Canada Olympic Park.
Okay.
And that is, people call it wind sport now. So the Olympics are there actually in '88 for a fun fact. So that was the first one. And then the other provincial Alberta downhill championship was in Blairmore in Crow's Nest Pass in Alberta.
Got it. Very cool. Now, is it going from a racer mentality into coaching? Does that tend to translate? Like if you're a great rider, you're automatically a great coach, or or no?
I would say no, and here's why. So, as a coach, a huge part of coaching is the aspect of refining your teaching because there's like a ton of great riders, and the most common thing is, oh, you just got to do this. And they are just natural athletes. They flow, they process information really well. But when it comes to the teaching part, we have to break it down and simplify things. And sometimes the art of doing that takes time and practice and hours on the bike and communicating that with others. So there's definitely a difference, and it's a refinement of each art, just like a teacher would in like a junior high class or a high school, to compare like that.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. That makes sense. I always wondered that from a racer's mentality, if that was the case. But yeah, it's two different worlds. But the good news is as a racer, and you can get those skills for teaching. Like you've been there. You can really help people out when you see things that need to be tuned up or taught. So I always think that's cool
Mm-hmm.
to see that on there. And then you have AFA Best Downhill Female Athlete Award. Um, I definitely didn't want to sleep on that because that's I don't know what AFA stands for, but God, that's got to be a hard thing to get. That's not They don't hand that out to everybody. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Uh, well, shucks. So that is the Alberta Free Ride Award, and it was, oh man, it was a really cool award to accept. I had like amazing, because I was racing at that time as well, and I had amazing mentors and coaches with me, and they saw something in me, and they really pushed and strengthened me. And so through my level of athleticism, and I really also involved myself with the community. So I actually built a nonprofit called Pedaling for Change in Kids.
Wow.
And so I would raise money to help bring kids to the mountains and raise money to purchase bikes and helmets and accessories. So
cool.
a lot of my work off the bike kind of played into that award as well.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. What a prestigious award to get. It's like a well-rounded award. It's not just about ripping laps. It's about kind of all around. That's pretty cool. So you were a DH racer, and now you're doing this. But where did this all start? Where did the love for the bike start? Was it as a kid, in college, as a teenager? Where did you get bit by the bug?
So when I was 2 years old, I went on my bike and I pretty much was starting on a two-wheeler. And I was actually telling Mia this a few weeks ago. Like, my parents put me in their undeveloped basement, and I literally rode around in circles all day on my bike.
No way.
And I just didn't stop. So they're like, well, I think she found her love.
They were like, yes, yes. So 2 years old on a bike, and you just loved it ever since?
Yeah, and then, actually, a memory just popped into my head as we're chatting. So I grew up also in Canmore, Alberta, and I had a neighbor. We were about 10 years old, and she wanted to learn how to ride a two-wheeler and get on her training wheels, but she was too afraid. And so I went outside, and I coached her to eventually get off her training wheels, and eventually I just pushed her down the hill, and I said, go for it.
And she did good? No crashing?
No crashing, and now she's living in a mountain town in Alberta, and she is downhill riding all the time. So it's been pretty cool to see her progression.
That's cool. That's cool. Literally, you were there from day one. Do you remember? Okay, so you're age 2, you're in the basement doing laps down there. Great space because you can ride there 365, right? All year long. And do you remember the first really, really nice bike that you got?
So I got a Kona stuff. Do you remember that hardtail?
The Kona hardtail, that was your first bike? The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
What colorway was it? And, what did your friends how old were you, and what did your friends think when you first pulled it out?
It was a dark forest green,
Sick.
and my friends. I was in grade 7, and my friends rolled up and they said, "You're such a poser."
What great friends. They must have been jelly.
Yeah, I think so. And I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" And they're like, "Well, it's someone who has a nice bike that doesn't know how to ride very well." And I was like, "You know what, boys? I'll show you up." So here I am.
Nice. Oh, so you were kinda like one of the girls one of the were you one of the fewer girls in the group, or one of the only girls in that friends group as a kid in the neighborhood?
I I was the only girl.
Oh, the only girl comes out to the squad with a nicer bike than all the other boys. That must have been fuel for you. How long did it take you to show those guys up?
Well, they were gracious enough to send me over to COP and kind of test the ropes of let's try this downhill course. And
Uh,
I kind of just went to the seat of my pants and followed them and kept up. And, I definitely had a few crashes and didn't think I was going to make it through some of the seasons, but I had that tenacious spirit to keep going. And, oh man, it was a journey though, being a female in the mountain bike industry and really breaking through that noise. That was like a really beautiful part of my life, but it was also really tricky to navigate at some aspects.
yeah. What
Yeah.
what would you say was like obviously you're loving the sport. What was some of the tricky things that you had to overcome as a female in the mountain bike world at that time?
I think the trickiest part navigating that at that time was being seen and understanding that others of like I do matter, I am a good rider, I keep up with the guys, I have results, and I was racing, and being seen was really important, but it was almost a little bit clouded because it was such like a cluster of male dominated in a sport, and so I think that was the hardest part, but really showing up and being present all the time and bringing the value of, okay, like, where's another girl on the trail? And I was literally trying to seek out another girl and just ride up to her and be like, hey, you want to go ride? And so that also broke the shell of, I'm not the only girl here. There's other people that matter too.
Right. Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, that had to have been I can imagine that would have been a tough time, trying to enjoy the sport that you love, but having it be to the point where you don't feel like you're being seen and it's dominated by the males. Was there a turning point that you can remember when things started to change for you or the
Oh, that's a
sport?
great question. Um, it was probably in the last like 7 years when I invested my time more in coaching and opened up my eyes of, okay, like, who are the demographics? Who and where am I coaching? And so that gave me a different lens and provided me an opportunity of like, oh my goodness, there's a ton of other women riding and it is so awesome. So I changed my lens of perspective because in the racing world, it was still quite small, but outside of that racing life, there was actually a bigger community of women that I never originally saw. So tunnel vision in my racing and with my team.
Oh, interesting, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like today, at least today, um, I see a lot of women on the trails today, which is so cool to see. And not just women, but kids and then older adults, just so many people that are out there. Do you feel like from the time that you started noticing more women out there on the trails on mountain bikes that would you say women is one of the biggest, fastest growing demographics of riders out there?
From my vision, I
Yeah.
would say yes. I would say yes. Like numbers and hard data, I'm not too sure. I would be actually really curious to see what that would be. But I know, I think it's really growing just from a coaching perspective with all these like different female groups, female initiatives, and being more present and like leveling out the playing board with racing and the money that you win. Like it's evening out, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, that's really cool. I noticed that too. Joey and I were, as an example, we went to Sedona for the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival, and it was pretty darn close to 50-50, as far as like females to males out there. And then Mia DePaulo from Women's MTB Network and Jess Hanna had a group ride. I think that was on Sunday, and that was a very large group of women out there having a blast. I mean, we were in the same area as them. We were having a hard time finding where they were, but we could hear their stoke from afar. Remember that, Joey?
Yes.
Yes, yes. We can
Yeah, they're having the best time, and it's so cool to see that happening, and I just love our mountain bike community because of all that. And then recently I went to Bentonville for the Bentonville Bike Fest, and man, that was also a good sample of the demographics. There were men, there were women, there were kids, there were grandmas and grandpas all on bikes. And these bikes today are not the little cheapy bikes. Everyone's got bikes that cost more than a golf cart now. It's insane. But I feel like the sport is going in a great direction, and with great people such as yourself, with the coaching that you're doing for people. So I just wanted to say hats off to everything that you're doing on it. Do you feel like this will be definitely the next chapter of your life is in the coaching and this website, or do you have plans outside of that in the sport?
Mm.
No, I really found my niche in bringing communities together, inspiring and supporting other riders. I've always been drawn back to mountain biking, no matter what part of my life, what stage in my life. It's always been Vanessa loves mountain bike. And so, heck, if this could be my full time gig, I'd love that.
Yeah, right. And we're talking a little bit too. Joe and I at the beginning of the show, we're talking about one of the events that we're having for the mountain bike communities called Ride and Shine, and it's geared towards mental health. And I'm just curious for you as a coach, and literally been riding since you were a kid at age 2. Do you find that mountain biking really helps out with the whole mental aspect of a person?
100%. I truly believe, like for me, it's my escape, and with different riding, terrain, and like enduro or downhill, it just gets me out of my head.
Yeah.
And I really love that. And my husband, he's a psychotherapist, so I'm trying to convince him to come out on a group ride and do a pilot project of what would it look like if we did a therapy session on top of a mountain as we were riding. Like, what would people react to?
Wow. Wow, that would be cool. What did he say to that?
Well, he was like, "Let me get my last credential," and I was like, "Okay, fine." So I
Yeah,
have 2 more weeks
nice.
for him to finish.
That's interesting because I feel like when you're writing, whatever is ailing you mentally, and Joey, definitely chime in if you think this too, but I feel like it's almost you're in this meditative space when you're writing. You're either climbing and you're like, this sucks, I gotta get to the top, but I know I'm getting a workout, and you're kind of zoned in, right? You're fixed in as to the goal, which is getting to the top so you can have fun. And then when you're on the downhill, it's literally nothing about bills, nothing about stress, nothing about, oh, I lost my truck and the dog died and all that stuff. It's about watch that rock. Is this the right line? This is so fun. Oh, my friend almost ate it, but they're still alive and we're having a blast. Like the whole time, your brain just has a chance to be in the moment. So, man, I'd be curious to see what would happen if they did a session out there on the mountain.
Yeah, I love to pilot a project because I like one of the um, guys that I connected with when I took my level 2 course in Kamloops in British Columbia. He started a nonprofit bike organization for soldiers, and their healing is on mountain bikes, and it saved tons of lives that he's personally witnessed. So it's a healing method for sure, which is so awesome.
Yeah. What does he say, is the healing part of the or have you had a chance to talk to him a little more in depth about what he feels like could be the healing part of the mountain bike?
I haven't talked too much in depth with Kenny, who's the founder, but I would be more than happy to connect the three of us and see where he can use his experts and skills and development, because he's also a mountain bike coach, to pick his brain because he's been like in the trenches with this, and he's living in the States, actually in Oregon.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's so cool how you get a bike as a kid, and for a lot of us, the bike kind of goes away as you become an adult and start to pay bills and buy a home and a car and office space and going to work. But for the those of us who are lucky enough to get the bike back as an adult, I feel like it brings back that inner kid, and it just makes life a lot more fun.
I second that. Like, even I was riding a few days ago with a few of my buddies, the Flannel Crew. They're an awesome group of riders in Calgary, and we were doing a stunt trail, and I was feeling like a kid, doing little whips, and it was like, okay, we have all this freedom in the world, and it was literally living in the moment in like a bright blue sky, good day, years
Oh,
after.
oh, oh, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. What, Vanessa, let's talk a little bit about bike builds real quick. We're talking about having fun on the bike. And what are you currently on right now?
Okay, so I have two bikes right now that I'm riding.
Spoken
So
like a
my first
true,
one is
spoken like a true mountain biker.
um, the most mountain bikes I've had was
Five? Holy,
five,
holy.
and yeah, and then I was like, well, I do want to be a homeowner and this and that, and then I was like, okay, I'll decrease my numbers by this.
I know.
Not to say that's gonna last forever.
Right, right. I mean, downhill bike, enduro bike, trail bike, XC bike, dirt jumper. That's five already. E-bike, Joyce e-bike. That's now we're in six. I mean, those are all things you literally can't have for sure.
Might as well jump on a gravel bike.
Gravel bike. Now we're into seven.
Yeah, I unicycle.
Unicycle. We're at eight. We're at
Nice.
eight. Man, right? Road bike nine. What's that?
Tricycle.
A tricycle, we're at 10. You can literally have a museum of bikes in your garage that you're riding in rotation. That's so fun. That's crazy. But sorry, so you have two bikes now, but you had five at one time. So proud of you. This is awesome. I love it. But the two that you're putting in rotation right now are
So it's Trek Remedy 9.8.
okay.
So that's a really fun all mountain bike, like 27.5 wheels, 150 in the back, 160 in the front,
Sweet.
fully carbon.
Woo.
It's nice and stiff. Just like it's awesome. It's a fun bike to ride.
Is that on your IG, Vanessa? Can we see it there on the Instagram? Is there a picture of it?
Probably in my videos, but you know what? I will tomorrow. My promise to you all is to post my bikes and what they look like and talk to or chat about what I love about them, what they do.
Yeah.
I'll do that for you guys.
Joey's pulling up one now. There's one that's that light blue color. Oh, is that it right there with the orange forks?
Oh no!
My remedy is a 2020.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so that's my friend. She was riding Forbidden.
Dang, nice. Oh, Joey pulled up one. Looks like a race bike. You got some gummy worms on it.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so that's my other bike. That's my Flash. That's my Trek Flash 8.
Sweet.
So if Smart Sweet ever wants to sponsor me, because I eat their candies like I drink coffee.
No, that is awesome. Now, when we were backstage, Joey was literally talking about those gummy worms, and you had that on the Trek Slash. Now, what's the trick behind that? Is that like a little sugar boost, or was that just yeah? What is that?
So, if you don't mind a little dirt, then I would recommend doing this. It's pretty fun, and it's a good conversation starter. But I like the gummy. I stick it on my top tube, and then if I'm feeling bored or need a distraction or feeling a little bit hungry and need an energy boost, like you said, I just snatch one up instead of going behind in my pack, and it's convenient and easy and it's delicious.
That is very cool. Do you do that for race days, or is that just for any old time to ride?
Any old time.
Dang, I had never thought of that. Joey, do you do that for race days?
Yeah, when I was doing the XC races, I would put my fuel, the little gummies right there, 3 or 4 of them, just lick it and stick it right there. And it was a good conversation piece. Everybody thinks you're nuts. They think it's dirty and blah, 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 but it's totally fine. Like it's a nice clean spot to put your gummies.
Yeah.
Better than your pocket.
Right? You don't have to pull over, unzip your pocket, lose the whole pouch.
You need it. That's perfect.
That's clever. That is clever. What other quick tricks do you guys have?
Well, I have a really fun coaching technique that I like to do that I just had an aha moment of.
Yes, please share.
So for front wheel lifts to integrate into drops or jumps, I would like to build height. And sometimes logs can be hard to find sometimes, or the depth of it, or sometimes they can be intimidating. So I bought these silicone muffin containers and I stack them, and if you hit them, no one gets hurt. But if you clear them, everyone cheers. So it's a pretty nifty, fun teaching tool that I carry in my back pocket.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's clever. And that way they can learn technique at a low risk. That's very, very cool. What would you say as far as coaching, or actually going back to the 2 bike builds, so they both are Trek is what it sounded like. Are they pretty much stock, or did you upgrade any of the components on the bike, or running it as is?
They're stock except my pedals and new tires.
Got it.
I keep them pretty basic as is.
Do you ride for Trek? Is that one of the companies that supports you from your racing days?
No, but I used to work for Trek, so it was a nice gig to have when I got my mountain bike. But when I used to race, I was actually Da Vinci helped out with supplying bikes when I was racing.
Got it. Very cool. Very cool. So you got the 2 Trek bikes, and tire-wise, you're out of Canada. Which part of Canada do you ride and live at?
So I'm in the West.
BC, Squamish area, Whistler?
So right now I'm more interior. So
Okay.
Kamloops, Kelowna. So we're riding a lot of like desert, rock, shale, a lot of iron. So it's I almost miss like the lonely North Vancouver riding a little bit because in Kelowna and the interior there's such fine dirt. So I've been finding that like maintain and clean your bike is a lot more frequent than riding like super soft, lonely dirt.
Interesting. So you're kind of more deserty loose then, would you say?
Yeah.
Got it. So yeah, that's the kind of terrain that we have here in Southern California, kind of drier, deserty, loose, rocky. We don't have as much of the shale, but we do have a lot of rock. For that, what kind of tires do you lean towards for your bikes?
So right now I'm testing out the Continental Kryptonite,
Okay.
and two things about it. It's super grippy, so it's really cool. You get a lot of traction when you're descending. The side effect to that is when you're climbing, I can feel a bit of a lag.
Because of the knobs are a little more pronounced. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. The Continental Kryptonite. And so far, you're happy with the performance?
Yeah, it's been really good for this climate that we're in. I haven't tested them yet for like wet conditions, but for dry, they've been really well performing.
Got it. And as a coach, would you say, or I have a question for you as a coach. Um, when you're descending down the looser kind of shale type of environment, where should in your opinion, where should your weight be? Like more on the front? Because I used to hear people saying like, man, when it's loose, you got to put your weight more towards that front tire. And then I hear people saying, no, you got to be above the bottom bracket. And now I don't know what to do. Where are your thoughts on it?
Well, I would say if there's a trail that has that loose rock that you would re-ride like 2, 3, 4 times, and the first time ride it how you usually would. Then the second time ride it with your weight farther back. Third time ride it with your weight more forward, and and you would come to a conclusion of like, okay, what position do I feel the most stability?
Okay.
Because I could tell you something as like the correct answer, but until a rider feels it, that's when it really dials in and locks into your brain of, that's what it feels like with being unstable when I'm in X position, and this is what it feels like when I'm in Z position, and I feel super stable and confident. So, long story short, I totally encourage you guys to try that and see where you're sitting. But full note is you always want to be centered over your bike. And a little quote that I like to say is chin over stem, hips over feet, and that will really center you down. And being in that neutral position actually resets the body. So if you're feeling a little bit wonky, just like pop into like, okay, when in doubt, neutral out. And hop back into neutral, because neutral is actually a safe and a good position to be in when you're riding.
Very cool. So chin over stem, chest over feet, and that's the neutral position in riding. And then so here's also another question, if I could dive a little deeper into the cornering. Sometimes when Joey and I are out on the trails, I'll notice Joey really leaning the bike, but his body is more in that neutral position, but the bike's doing a lot of the movement. And me as a newer rider, I will lean my body a little more into the corners, but man, if something goes wrong, I'm either washing out, or if there's another turn the opposite direction, it's taking me way longer to get back over to get that body weight on the other side. Is there general consensus as to what's the best technique for cornering as far as dipping the bike down and not letting your body get too far down, or anything like that?
Yeah, those are great questions. So with cornering, there's two different types. So there's angulation, which you are leaning the bike more than the body for stability.
Okay.
So that's what Joey would be doing, right? So he's leaning the bike with his body being in neutral position. So that technique is well used because you're having even pressure on your front and rear tire, which is creating traction.
Okay.
And that type of angling with your bike and body is really good for berms that are a little bit less stable. So flat berms, flat corners at a lower speed. And then to integrate as like building range into your riding is dropping your outside foot. And when you drop your outside foot and put more pressure into that foot, you're also creating even more traction to help with that stability as you're going around a corner that doesn't have as much of a height to support your wheel.
Got
So
it.
that would be the first tip.
Okay.
And the second one, like for you, Mark, you would be doing inclination. So this is where you're leaning with your bike.
Yeah.
And this is where level pedals would come into effect. And this is mostly done when there's those like sweet built up berms. And this technique, I find it takes more of trusting yourself, trusting your bike that, hey, you can lean with your bike because it has you, the berm has you, and it's just progression. And so the best way to do that is like hang out with some friends, get them to film you, and have a competition of like see how low you can go.
Wow. How cool. And
Yeah.
and it sounds like you picked that second style of cornering when the berms have the angulation to it to hold you versus like a
Yeah.
flat turn, which you would use the first technique that Joey was using.
Yeah, I feel like you need a combo.
Yeah, that's
So
really
both are good. And then a fun fact is, so I heard this fun fact where, you know, when you go around a berm at a high speed or whatever speed you're comfortable with, and you rush out and you're like, oh, that was awesome.
Yes.
Have you ever had that feeling?
Yeah, oh yeah, I love that feeling. That keeps you coming back for more.
Yeah. So apparently, we have this floating bone in our ear canal. And this bone is called the stoke bone. And so when we're going around like a corner and when gravity pulls us in and shoots us out, that stoke bone actually shifts and it turns like our endorphins on, which creates that excitement of let's do it again.
Is it really a bone called the stoke bone? Joey's looking it up right now.
Oh, I'm getting on the post. I'm mind's blown right now. I've got a stoke bone.
That's true, because it definitely works with me.
Yes, that stoke bone when it's activated, that's the one that's like, let's do it again. I was supposed to be home an hour ago, but let's do it again. This is awesome, Vanessa. I see people are saying great tips. Don's on the line. Don Turgo saying great tips. Thank you. Trail Pimp is out there making comments too as well. Trail Monster is actually adding to the bike collection. He says, don't forget the BMX bikes, busting out the BMX bikes. So now we're at bike 11 for fun bikes out there. As far as continuation of tips, and we just talked a bit about cornering and the two styles that you had named there, Uncaged as the stoke bone. There is, and I was like, is that real? Braking. Now, it's nothing more embarrassing when I'm in a corner and I am braking and my brakes are making noise, calling me out on the corner. But sometimes I feel like I'm in too hot, and if I don't brake, I'm gonna get sucked over the top of that berm. What is what is, for the people who are listening, who are curious like me, what is actually the best technique going into a corner when you're coming in too hot?
So the one tip that I would give all of you that are listening is called the 2-1-none rule.
2-1 none.
Say
Okay.
that 10 times fast.
2-1 none. 2-1 none. 2-1. Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go. So it's always important to figure out your commitment point of like, where is my commitment point before going into a section, a feature. The faster you go, the closer that commitment point is going to creep up to you. So I would say at least like 1 to 2 bike lengths so you can stop safely.
Okay.
But the 2-1-none rule is, so this is what we're going to do. So we're going to cover both of our brakes, front and rear. And when you're approaching the corner, you're going to be on both brakes.
Okay.
And as you enter in, if you're wanting to go at a speed that you feel comfortable with and that you can maintain, because when you do that, then you're smooth. So as you enter into the berm with 2 brakes, as you reach the apex of the berm and you kind of feel like your bike wants to move out in front of you, you release the front brake and allow the back brake to drag as you and this is where roosting happens too, right? So you like roost around the corner.
Okay.
And then as the corner pushes you out into the exit, that's where you release your back brake and to maintain your speed and flow.
Interesting. I've been doing it all wrong this whole time. Holy cow. So it's okay to go into the corner on the brakes, finding that speed that's comfortable, and then hitting at the apex. And then as I'm entering the turn, releasing that front brake, that makes total sense. And as I'm hitting the apex and looking for the exit, I'm releasing the back brake. That makes total sense to me.
Right.
I totally get that. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know where I came up with this feeling where I felt like I had to like get my speed just right, which is really hard to do when you're hauling butt down the mountain, and then releasing both brakes at the very entrance of the berm, which never seems to work for me.
Okay, well, next time you're on the berm, I want to get a video footage of it and cheer you on.
Okay. Yeah.
And the really cool thing is with this is one of my clients, she's been working with me for over 2 years, and she never really mountain biked before but got into it, and now she lives in North Vancouver, rides the North Shore, and is killing it out there. Like, it is incredible to see her progression.
Wow.
And the one dominant thing that she's really learned, and she's actually increased her speed around corners and berms, is the 2-1-none rule, because she can, at first, right, it's slow and steady, and as she's felt more controlled and smooth, you naturally will gain more speed. And so you can just release a bit more of your brakes over time. And so that's been a huge win for her as a rider, and is always excited to start building up her range of going faster. What does it feel like going forward in different scenarios?
Yeah, that is very cool. I'm so glad I asked that question, Vanessa, because my thought process was totally wrong. And I'm excited to try that 2-1-none. And we're talking 2-1. I'm calculating kind of bike length for that commitment point, right? Is that what the 2-1-none is? At the none, I'm in. I'm 100% committed.
It's 2 brakes, 1 brake, no brake.
The none is having no brakes at that point.
Oh, see, there's already the separation. Joey's already pulling ahead of me again and getting smaller. So coming in with 2 brakes and then initiating the turn, letting off the front brake. Now I'm on 1, apexing, and then now I'm none. 2-1.
Oh, I can't wait for Sky Park.
Got it. I know Joey's he's gonna be hitting those flow trails and
because I'm like you, Mark. I'm always 2 until I get comfortable and I just let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it makes sense to
Makes
hold
way more sense. Yes.
yeah, if that back brake is on as I'm cornering, doesn't that naturally push that front tire down for more traction as I'm apexing and then I'm letting go and I'm just boosting out of that corner? You can pump out of that even, I bet.
Oh yeah, you nailed it on the head. Like because of that rear wheel traction, and when you use your rear brake, you put more weight on it, right? So it's actually going to create more traction and boost you out.
Gosh, that's interesting. I love that. Don't
I
tell
gotta
Joey too much
I
because
gotta
he's
go
already
ride my
better than
bike.
me.
I want to
Vanessa,
see you both do that.
yes,
Yeah.
we'll send footage, and that comes to the next question. With the invention of this whole internet thing that we're on, it used to be I would have to live in the area to be coached by Vanessa Hair, but now I could be anywhere. Do you take people from everywhere, or do you prefer to teach in person locally?
So I go where the client is. So hey, if someone wants me to coach them down in the States, we can work out a plan and I'll go down and coach. I've done clinics with bigger groups, like 5-10 hours away from where I live. So I love to travel everywhere and anywhere. And with this cool platform, I can also help teach and mentor online if that interests people as well.
Very cool. Yeah, it's cool to get the information, whether if it's afar online or in person. So it sounds like you can do both depending on the client. And what you just did for us right there when it came to cornering and braking taught us something from afar. So that wasn't that hard at all. And I'm really, really want to get out there and give it a shot. Um, and I can't believe we're already up on an hour, but if I could just have a few more questions with you, if you still have the time, that would be awesome.
Hire them off.
Yes. Okay. I see Joey. He wants to ask a question too, so I'm gonna try to beat him to it. With and it's probably just more of a community question. With all the different coaching that you have done, what has been the most common question that comes up from riders of all skill levels?
Hmm. The most common question, it would question slash type statement. It would be, I really want to learn how to drop and jump.
I could see that for
And
sure.
and I think, yeah, it's super fun. It's thrilling. It's an adrenaline rush. And I think with all of this online, it's things at the tip of your finger. There's a lot of amazing riders out there, and I just want to say, like, to all the listeners, that like be gentle to yourself, humble yourself, because it takes time. Like my one friend who I've been coaching for over 2 years, like it's taken time to like build up, and she texted me last night of like, hey, I want to learn jumps and drops now. I'm like, okay, let's go and do it. So
That
that's probably the most common, yeah, question statement of my coaching career.
and at a high level answer, when you're teaching a drop, what's kind of like a high level answer that can cover a drop that's like 3 inches high to the drop that's like 5 feet high? Is there like a technique that would encompass both versions of drops?
That's a really good question. It's a simple but complex answer because drops can be performed at various speeds. So whether you have to clear something that's underneath and you have to analyze it of like, do I need more speed? Do I need more lift? And so it's interesting because drop, it looks easier, but it's actually more complex on how you maneuver yourself over the bike and how you adjust the biomechanics.
Mm,
Whereas with jumping, there's like the transition, there's the ramp, there's the lift, there's the flat, and then the transition on the way down, right? So
right.
jumping is very much about singular with multiple movements, but always going to be the same, generally speaking, on jumping. But when it comes to drops, there's a lot more that goes around on how you execute a drop. So I actually like to teach jump first more than drop because of that complexity.
Oh wow, interesting, interesting. That's cool. Yeah, you're right. Drops are so different. Some you need more speed. That front tire is coming down at a certain percentage for each, you know, for each amount of space that you move through the air. The gravity is pulling that front tire down. So yeah, you have to adjust how you're coming off the drop, assess what speed you need. That's yeah, a lot different than the technique of the jump, being very similar on each one. Now, when it comes to jumping, what is and Joey, if you have questions, please. I
No,
can
I'm
see it.
good. No, I'm just. This is great. I'm taking it
He's,
all in.
what's going to happen, Vanessa, is Joey's my writing partner, so he's going to soak it all in and he's going to apply it the next time you write. I'm going to be like, whoa,
Yes.
damn, Joey, look at you go, bro. um, for a writer, I feel like I'm kind of like a beginner to intermediate writer, and when it comes to jumping, I'll have it
No,
down. No.
no, you passed. You surpassed the beginner. You're intermediate, advanced.
Intermediate. Joey has me in the intermediate advanced level, and there will be days when I'm jumping and I feel like I'm lifting off. I'm coming off the lip perfect. I'm getting a nice pop. I'm rowing the bike into my body. I'm eyeing the landing. I'm anti-rowing it back into the angle of the landing. Everything feels great and all is well in the world. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'll pull off of a lip and I'll end up in this weird space where I'm completely paralyzed. The bike is a little bit crooked and I'm in this dead sailor position and I'm just looking at the ground and going, "Come on, baby. Let's get these tires back on the ground." What in the heck causes the dead sailor? Everything felt the same as it did the last 100 pulls, and then all of a sudden,
Hmm. So when that happens, where like at that commitment point, does something mentally change in that moment prior to your other jump that you've executed? Like mentally speaking, does something change?
it feels the same. Maybe I'm getting a little too comfortable, or maybe I'm getting a little too tired. That could be one of the things. Or maybe I'm pulling harder off the lip with one arm versus the other. I honestly haven't narrowed it down yet, but it definitely is one of those confidence shattering memories when you lift off the lip and you're either dead sailored or you're getting bucked and you're like, how, why, what happened? But
Yeah.
are you getting to the point like something might change mentally that changes the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing? Little things make big impacts sometimes.
Yeah, and the thing to note or remember is, from my perspective, I think the most important part of a jump is in the ramp towards the lip of compressing and exploding and getting really tall. And this was an aha moment for me actually a few months ago because, believe it or not, I'm afraid of heights.
Wait, what?
And
That's why you were fast on the downhill. You wanted to get down.
I think you're right. So, and I was like in that dead sailor position, like how you were explaining, and I'm like, what is going on? And a few months ago, I really invested my time into a high level coach, and what was happening was up until the ramp into the lift, as I was exploding up, I was not getting tall. Like you got to stand up nice and tall and proud, and I was almost restricting that flow. And when you restrict that flow, then that dead sailor can occur or that imbalance can occur because all of your momentum gets sucked in and lost, and that momentum is gone, and then it's survival mode.
Oh, interesting.
And
Interesting.
reaching, yeah, and getting tall allows you to get that arch when you like at like biker's high, when you're like, oh, this feels so good. So
Right.
you're actually maximizing that arch, and naturally your front wheel will, drive down and you'll land nice and smoothly. But when you
Int
resist, that's when that dead failure happens.
Hmm.
Interesting. So it's kind of like your body and the bike are going in opposite energy positions when you get into that weird unbalanced mode. You're kind of almost squashed the bike down, but the energy wants to go up, and you end up in that weird crooked dead sailor space.
Yeah. And so then what I would do as like a coaching brain, and even I know Trail Fence has been asking questions about drops,
Yes.
um, is scale back. Like it is totally okay and it's healthy. And like I applaud those people that want to scale back and be like, let's start on a smaller option and regain that confidence back. Because once you dial that in and you do it 100 times, then once it's consistent, comfortable, and you're confident, you can then progress to the next level. So that is my like tip for everyone, because that's where accidents can happen. And I've seen enough of them. And to prevent that, I'm really a warrior for, safety and how can we reduce that risk management.
Yeah, definitely so. And I feel like this last season, I don't know if just because we're getting to know more people in the community or what I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot of people have been getting hurt this last season, which is kind of it's a bit scary. Um, yeah. What did you say there, Joey?
I was agreeing with you. Yeah, it's a bit scary. There's been a lot of injuries this year.
Yeah, yeah. So this will be very helpful. These techniques that you're talking to us about, Vanessa. I see Trail Pimp saying he just gets scared when it comes to the drops. That makes total sense. Especially some of the ones that have funky run-ins or funky run-outs. Like there's so much to calculate. Not just the drop alone. And then he's also saying dead sailor. Me too. So great,
Yeah.
great, great tips on the drops. If we need it, sounds like just back them down a bit, build that confidence up, calculate the speed and the technique, how much to pull, what to look at. Do you ever do things for drops where you walk up to it, you look at the line, you put like a little pebble or a stick so you know what to hit? Is that also a good thing, or is that putting more glitter on the trail?
Like, can you explain like the pebble to see like how it falls, or what do you mean by that?
Oh yeah, so sometimes if I'm looking at a drop for the first time, I'll walk up to the drop and I'll look at what seems to be the right line, because if it's bigger, a lot of times on my approach, everything goes blind. I just kind of see the drop, but I don't see what's after it and which direction to go. So sometimes I'll put like a leaf or something to mark my spot visually, so I know when I'm running up on it, I want to line myself up with that. Um, I just didn't know if that was helpful or if that's in my brain.
You know what? That's a great way to focus on, this is my line of choice. So I use like a pair of gloves, but I don't have my training cones there. You can really use anything that works for you as a rider. Like some people that I've ridden with get distracted by putting objects on the trail, but others love it. So it really is dependent on the person when it comes to that.
Okay, interesting. I never thought about the gloves. That makes sense. You can run right over those, and for sure you're going to go back and pick them up. So
Yeah.
you're not leaving anything on the trail. That's a great one. And then going back to the jump real quick, when it comes to standing tall and coming off the lip, is that it kind of reminds me of when you're pumping on a transition. And when you pump going up, you want to stand up and kind of become weightless. And that standing tall that you just said, it makes me feel like that's exactly what's going to happen. When you come off the lip, you're standing up tall, you're getting weightless, you're matching the transition, and you're allowing that energy to release up in its natural arch position.
That's a that's a great connecting point that you've made. So that would, so there's like passive and active control over your bike. So when you're actively pumping up and down on your bike, that will then shift into the jumps of what that could feel like. So that's definitely a really great progression on understanding the jumps, because if anyone's like done a pump track, there's rollers that you can eventually jump. So it's a nice way to introduce jumps as well.
Very cool. Yeah, that's really cool. No, thank you for that. Joey, did you have any questions for Vanessa on the coaching?
Not on the coaching, but I'm on the website signing up right now. And there's the question, what do you identify with, coach, writer, or both? I'm a writer. I'm not a coach, but I would like to know about coaching and maybe go down that road. So click both. Oh, I hear my feedback.
Okay, I think I got what Joey said. I know I'm working with two different platforms. So from what you said, Joey, you said that there's 3 different options. So coach, rider, or both.
Yes. Yeah, and he was interested in going down the platform of becoming a coach, so he wasn't sure which one to hit.
You know what?
Hmm.
Hit what makes you feel good. If you're becoming a coach, hit the both button. I'd love to help your journey on what does it look like to become a coach and connect you with other people in the industry on what that could look like for shadowing. So yeah, let's both and happy to work with you.
There you
Sounds
go,
good.
Joey. Hit both. Hit both. He's already a better writer than me. Now he's going to be a better teacher than me. Jeez, this whole podcast is working against my ego. Hey, we just got EMTB Moto Adventures jumping on saying, yo, late to the party because I was out eating sushi for my B-day. But anyways, what's up, everyone? Bro, happy birthday, EMTB and Moto Adventures. Happy birthday, Slick Rick. We're getting some great information from Vanessa Hair, one of the coaches and the founder of Mountain Riders Collective. So thank you for jumping on there, and happy birthday. Vanessa, anything that we didn't cover that you would like to share on the podcast before we let you go?
The one thing that I'd love to share is, because Mountain Riders Collective is literally a collection of people wanting to do better, ride better. And so if there's someone online that's listening, just like how Joey and yourself have brought me into this podcast, is we also host webinars. So if you want to be a special guest and showcase your expertise or your vision, I would be your host and you'd be the special guest. And so I really want to build up that webinar platform as well. And what we've been doing is part of the proceeds go to a nonprofit of the special guest choice. So one was like a Trail Builder Society, and so that also gets like the crowd going on what they're passionate for. So if you want to be on a webinar, let me know. You can message me on Instagram or even the website, and I'd love to set something up for you.
That is awesome and great call out there. Go to Mountain Riders Collective and you can send Vanessa a DM there if you want to be on her platform and showcase your skills there as well. Man, Vanessa, I love everything that you're doing for the mountain bike community. I can't wait to see this platform grow globally, like you're going to have it dialed out. Obviously, your knowledge is so rich, and I'm so thankful that you're able to share some of that with us tonight. As far as support goes, anybody that you wanted to highlight that helps support Mountain Riders Collective or you as a rider?
Oh man, well, a huge shout out to 2 people. So Amanda, who has been a client of mine, has now come on board as the visual designer, and she has been the art that has created this website by my side. So that's been a really cool part. And the slogan came to mind of clients. It's easier to make friends from clients, but it's not always easier to make friends become clients.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So Amanda's been a huge part of that, and we actually started connecting in Ontario when I was there for 2 years. And then I've been having the pleasure to talk to other people like Trail Builder Magazine. Sean is really passionate about getting the community more involved in what does trail building look like and how can people get and be on board and a part of it and get knowledge on what trail building is, because we ride trails all the time, and if it wasn't for riders and trail builders, we wouldn't be here. So we've actually connected, asked him to pop on a webinar to talk about like his expertise of the digital world and how he started Trail Builder Magazine. And then a shout out to Mia. So the Mountain Bike Network, they have been so great in connecting me with other people globally. And we've always had some really cool talks. And so she's also been super inspiring. And alongside of that with Jen Case with Shift Human Performance. So they have been a huge support. And if you need to check them out, I would highly encourage it, because they are also a wealth of knowledge that I've learned from too. So it's really amazing to be a part of a community that's holistic and that kind of takes all different aspects of how to make a mountain biker whole.
Love that. I love that. Very cool. Folks, if you're listening in here on YouTube or Instagram, Spotify, or wherever you're picking up this podcast, definitely check out what they're doing at Mountain Riders Collective. Contact Vanessa Hair. We just got a great tip or great tips on our riding level just right now with the 2-1 none into the corners. If you guys missed that part, definitely go back and listen to that section. And we touched upon jumping and drops. Vanessa, you're a wealth of knowledge, and thank you for everything that you've done for our community and are going to continue to do. I can't wait to have you back on the show. We should get you back on and just do like some breakdowns of some skills that could help people maybe stay off the IR list, including mostly us, right, Joey?
Yes, I want to stay off that list.
Yes, we have to stay off that list.
I would love that. It is my ultimate passion to help other riders out. And yeah, let me know, and we can do another session on different techniques of riding, and who knows what's going to come out of that.
I love it. You have a big group that has your full support out here. They encompass all of California, north and south. They're called the Trail Wolves MTB community. And the Trail Wolves are pretty deep as far as how many people are a part of it. Don Turgo is saying, this was amazing. Thank you for the great info, Vanessa. The Trail Wolves MTB community have your support fully. So you are in good graces with the Trail Wolves, which is a lot of people. And they are cool too, because they do off-roading as well as MTB. And I think they're going to open up a fishing division. So all outdoors. I think the last time they had a off-road ride / with bikes and people, I think those over 3,000, if I remember right from their story. I mean, that's a lot of folks. So you've got some great support by the Trail Wolves. Shout out to the Trail Wolves.
Thanks, guys. That is incredible, and I'm excited to be a part of this community too. I couldn't have done it without you. Seriously.
No, thank you for jumping on. And now that you've taught me the right way to corner, Joey, watch your tail, bro. I'm coming for you, man.
Hey, there's still time left.
Vanessa, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. This has been episode 116 with Vanessa Hair, Mountain Riders Collective. Check them out on Instagram and check out their website. Sign up for their newsletter and watch how they grow. Slick Rick is saying, I love this community. The support and camaraderie is amazing. Thank you all who make it this way. Yeah, cheers to that. Cheers to that. All right, this has been episode 116. Thank you all for jumping on the chats, and Vanessa, thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.